I'm ready. Are you? Oh, yes, you are. I can sense it. We are all ready for the hottest podcast blending Second Life and real life. Boys and girls, it's time for the fourth wall with Paul and BK in three, two, one. Talk to me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fourth Wall. I'm the scumbag superstar Paul Slater alongside my podcast partner BK and his lovely partner Z. And BK, this is an episode that you and I have both been waiting for. I've been doing my research on this episode. I've been looking into a lot of things on this episode, and this is we're both excited for this. We've been waiting for this for a long time.
Absolutely, because as much as we love talking to our wrestling friends and our wrestling family and all that, this is one that I can say I know a lot of people are always interested in because they always want to hear the funny stories. They always want to hear the boot camp stories. They want to hear the war stories and the campfire stories and all that good stuff. But today we are very honored. We're going to be talking to some veterans in real life. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be talking to one of them. He said he's getting ready to actually go back in. And then we're also going to talk about what they've done here in SL. But instead of us going around and introducing like we normally do, we're going to let them introduce ourselves. But I will start first because my name is BK. As you all know, my name is Brian Newman, real life. I am a U.S. Navy and a U.S. Army veteran of 16 years.
And
Next.
sorry, go ahead.
Next to me.
You go.
Next to me. Yep.
All right. I'm Griff. I go by Griff usually and everything. Right now, I've got my account name set to a Trouser Monster because I thought it was funny. Halloween names. And before that, I was a war crimes enthusiast. So
Oh my
I'm
God.
always setting my name to like just meme shit. Yeah. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Served 5 years from 2013, 2018. I worked in signals intelligence, ground electronic warfare, as well as airborne electronic warfare. And then after I got out, I've been a contractor ever since. Then here on SL, mostly I do what's called SL Military Community. It's gameplay stuff where we set up SL as like a first-person shooter. And we all develop our own equipment and things like that. And I'm sure we'll probably get a bit more into that as this goes on.
All right, cross for me.
My name is the Charlie Actual, or as in the game, Cryptocoba. That's what I go by in Second Life. I was Marine Corps from 2012 to 2017, 5 years active. I did a little bit of time reserves between the times of 2018 and 2019, and then I got out. As stated before, I will actually be getting ready to go back in. Hopefully here within the next 6 months or so. I've had a packet that's been up at headquarters Marine Corps for the better part of a year now, waiting for everything to go through with the Doge department downsizing, and then the government shutdown has kind of screwed everything up. So I'm literally just waiting for my packet to be approved, and then I'll be going back in. My job originally was a 6048, which was a parachute rigger. And then, like all good Marines, I got in trouble my first year, and then got thrown into somebody else's job, which was a 6046's job, and that is a aviation maintenance data specialist. And ended up getting really good at that job and just never left. So I did that for most of my first enlistment. But for the second one here, when I do re-enlist, I'll be going in as a actually what Griff does is a signals intelligence. So more than likely we'll be going back in with all of my qualifications that didn't expire, my time and grade, time and rank, and then hit the schoolhouse, and we'll go from there.
All right. Next.
That's me,
Hellhound.
right?
Yep. Yeah, you're in the middle.
Hi, I'm Dashty Crum. I also go by Hellhound Actual. I am a retired Royal Canadian Armed Forces officer out of the 3rd Strathcona's Horse Armored Regiment. I started out as a infantry reserve in the Royal Canadian Reserve, and eventually went through officer school and decided to be even more useless.
All right, and last but not least.
Hi there, everybody. I go by legacy name Coronatus Aurelia, aka Teejay Valator. Real name Teejay Hill. United States Army Reserves, served for 8 years in total in the U.S. Army Reserves as a 74 Delta chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear specialist. I got out as an E4. And now, of course, most of you know me as a Second Life professional wrestler.
See, there's still a little bit of wrestling here, BK. Still got a little bit of wrestling.
But last time we had TJ here, it was strictly it was for the wrestling.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really count. All right, so we're going to get right into this because this is something that people are, and I'm sure you guys have run into it. And I'll go ahead and start this one. The questions that I don't know about you all, but I always get asked is boot camp stories because everybody saw Full Metal Jacket. Everybody loves Full Metal Jacket boot camp, right?
You're far off from Full Metal for the Marine Corps. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I get that because I went to Navy boot camp back when the Navy boot camp was actually in Orlando, Florida. Back in the 90s, early 90s, or late 90s actually. But anyway, the question I always get asked is, what is the most memorable thing about boot camp? And I have a couple of them. So I'm going to start this one off, and then you guys can decide who's going to tell the next one for what you have. But mine actually started before boot camp actually started. And for anybody and these guys can relate to this, but anybody you've seen the movies, and they are pretty much true when it's like they put you on a bus, they drive you to the base, and they are, Forrest Gump, yelling, get off the bus, get your ass off the bus. Because that is true. That really does happen. So that's not any bullshit. But where it started was they took us into the medical room in the receiving area, and the first thing that you have to do is you have to take a urinalysis test. You have to take a piss test because, be piss dirty, you can't get in. And there was a very attractive female, and I don't know what they call them now, but at the time they were calling them company commanders, which most people would know, basically drill instructors. And very good looking woman, she really was. And she was walking by, and don't look at them, this, that. Well, she caught one of the guys staring at her ass. And she goes over to him. She goes, "Oh my God, did I just catch you staring at my ass?" And he couldn't lie because he knew he got caught. So yes, ma'am. Yeah. "Oh, so you want to fuck me?" "Oh, no, ma'am." "Oh, I'm not good enough for you. So drop and give me 50. All right, he drops down, gives us 50 and everything, gets back up. She goes, "Now, do you want to fuck me?" "Ma'am, yes, ma'am." "Oh, now I'm a whore. Drop and give me another 50. And I lost. That was the first night in boot camp. I lost it the first night in boot camp.
That's hilarious.
All right, so who's got a good boot camp one?
I've got one. So, if you go to Marine boot camp on the West Coast, because they split it based off of where you are recruited out of. If you're west of the Mississippi, you go to San Diego. If you're east, you go to fucking Parris Island.
Yeah.
And it used to be if you're a female, you go to Parris Island, but I think after I got out, now they've integrated female recruits into San Diego. But
they have. That's correct.
Yeah. So, if you are in San Diego for the middle part of your basic training, you go to Camp Pendleton because they can't have you doing training with rifles and next to downtown San Diego and next to an airport and stuff. It probably would be
not a good idea. Not a good idea.
So, we're at Camp Pendleton and it's the field training. So this is where we're actually getting just dirty as fuck all the time. And there was this one dude in our platoon who just decided to skip showering. He kept doing it. And we were getting fucking reamed one day because we had this thing called the 5x5 where our senior drill instructor would actually sit down and just have a regular conversation with us pretty much. And so he was just pissed off because our platoon was fucking everything up. And he's like going off this list, and he's like, all right, and why is recruit so-and-so like smelling like shit all the time? Like, did any of you ever correct him? And we had been telling him, I'm not going to name drop him because, off chance that he listens to this, I have no idea what that dude's up to now, but we've been telling him, we're like, dude, wash your fucking ass. This is disgusting. Like, you just like, your sheets are brown from you.
Oh God.
It's like fucking vile, dude. And so we were just like, these recruits have, sir. And then like, he's like, oh, is this true? And then like, he knew we were going to beat the shit out of him if if he lied. So, he admitted that like we had been telling him to wash his ass. And so that night, our kill hat, who's generally like the most junior drill instructor, but he's strictly there to be an asshole, basically, like runs him into the bathroom, like in the shower, and basically just like has him take this entire fucking bar of soap and will just wipe it till the bar of soap is gone. And this dude looks like a clown. And then he's like eyeballs, and so everyone like looks over, and he's just like, does recruit so and so look clean yet? And we're like, no, sir. And he just like makes it fucking and oh man, I've got another one, but I'll let someone else tell a story before I get
After
into
he
that
threw him
one.
in the shower, you all went ahead and said, no, he's not clean. Wow.
I hate you, Griff, because I'm telling you right now, I never thought I would ever hear eyeballs ever again. Because
Eyeballs!
the thing, click, sir, and oh my god, that was so annoying. Oh, that was the dumbest thing in boot camp.
Or ears, just like,
yep.
open, sir.
Oh Jesus Christ, that's hilarious.
Okay, so who's got the next one?
I got one.
All
right.
So when you're in basic, they make you do your very first, your physical fitness test, your combat fitness test, and everything. And we do ours about midway through. We do our first one probably about midway through phase 1 for us, which has been the first 4 weeks. And so we had this one dude who ended up being our guide. He was Kenyan, hilariously enough. This motherfucker could run. And when I say he could run, I mean this dude did a mile and a half. I don't know, he did a 3 mile in like 14 minutes, like 14:30.
Jesus.
He was
Holy
fast.
fuck.
He was fast, but this dude could not do pull-ups to save his life. Okay. So we're all over here doing our test and whatnot, and we get to the pull-up portion, and we get up there, and I actually ended up pissing off one of the drill instructors because I wouldn't get off the damn bar. At that point, I had been in the back of the squad bay every evening just doing pull-ups on the pull-up bar just to, get my strength up and whatnot. And so I got off the bar. He finally made me get off the bar 28 pull-ups. And then later on that evening, our senior drill instructor said, okay, we're going to hold a competition since some of you guys want to show off. We're going to get 3 recruits up here, and the top 3 get a phone call home. Now, this dude had been a complete ass the entire time. Like, he's just a dick to everybody else around him. He's an asshole. Nobody likes him. So I honestly have no idea how he got guide. But either way, we all get up there, and everybody does their best, and they try, and dude barely makes fucking 14. Okay, so I get up there, and if, Griff, you remember, the pull-up bars in the squad bay were not standalone pull-up bars. They're like 4 to 5 inches off a wall because they're mounted to the wall. Okay? I get up there, I purposefully turn around, back against the wall, and do my pull-ups staring at him the whole time. The whole time, didn't break eye contact. I think I did like 24 or 25 pull-ups, and was one of the few Marines that ended up, or one of the few recruits that ended up getting a phone call home later that evening because of that. And then I got reamed for it later. But you know what? It was absolutely worth it. The look on his face, the pure frustration on his face was worth it.
About you, Hellhound?
We had a guy in BMQ, and for those who don't know, that's what boot camp is for Canada. It's basic military qualification. It was range day. This dude was kind of an asshole. Obviously not going to name him just on the off chance. And he was going on. He was one of those people that are like, oh, yeah, I have so much experience with guns, and blah, 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 blah. So range day comes along for rifle quals. You know, this dude couldn't hit the broadside of an aircraft carrier if he was inside it.
Oh my God.
The target is brought to him. And despite the magazine not being in the rifle and the rifle being unloaded, he looks down the barrel in front of our fucking drill sergeant and our drill master corporal. And the entire platoon looks down the barrel to make sure it wasn't bent. And of course, that came back on all of us.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Did you all see the movie Stripes?
I have not seen the movie Stripes.
No,
What?
I need to.
Oh my God! Yeah, when you said that, there's a scene where there's one of the guys sitting on his bunk, and he's, after the drill instructor gets decommissioned, let's say, and he's looking down the barrel of the gun, and everybody's just saying like, yeah, that's a perfectly normal behavior in boot camp is to stare down the barrel of a potentially loaded rifle.
One other thing, if anyone is looking to actually join the Marines, please remember that the drill instructor with the blue ring around his campaign hat is the emotional support drill instructor. Go tell him your problems.
Oh my God.
Stop.
Oh,
you're going to get somebody killed.
Emotional support.
Not literally, but figuratively.
Emotional support.
Emotionally.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So okay. All right. So we're going to do this a little bit differently because we don't have a lot of people in here, but Z was saying something to me earlier about a question that she had. And I think it would be a very good, due to the fact that it's been stated that somebody's actually getting ready to go back in. Z, I think that question that you had earlier would be very good to ask the guys right now.
Well, one of the things I've been surrounded by military veterans my entire life. My dad, my grandfather, uncles, everybody has been involved in the military. And one of the things that I know they get asked a lot is, you're all veterans at this point. Yes, ready to go back is fine, but at this point, you're veterans. If you knew before you enlisted what you were going to go through and how it was going to go, the emotional hit of it, would you have still enlisted?
In a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
100%. 100% every day, all the time. Done.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Where I am now, especially knowing where I am now, the chain of events that caused my life to end up exactly where I am, if we're altered at any point in time, knowing that information wouldn't change it for the world. Because I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm with who I'm supposed to be, and I have 2 beautiful children. So, I can't complain. And so, yes, 100 times, yes, I would do it in a heartbeat all over again.
I would even go back if my health were to allow it.
I mean,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, for me, the answer is yes, but I would have done a couple of things different. Like, I probably wouldn't have went to the Navy first. I would have went, if I would have thought I would have went, probably Army, probably would have ended up retiring, but I went Navy first, and that, personal issues there.
For me,
everybody else. Everybody else got to tell a boot camp story.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead, Teejay. Left Teejay out.
we can go back and forth. This is
out there.
This is not wrestling. This is not scripted.
No. This is like completely different.
All right, go ahead.
So I did my basic combat training, BCT, over at Fort Knox, Kentucky, Echo 281. I still remember the company name and code to this day.
I'm so sorry.
For those who don't know, if you're in the Army, the drill sergeant with that little blue ring behind their little button on the hat, on their campaign hat, if they have that, they were infantry. They were 11 bullet catcher. But I actually have a couple of them. Most prominent one, best one I have is actually a bunch of a bunch of the privates there from each platoon. I think my platoon had the most. Were trying to hide candy in the fucking barracks. And they would just go out, buy it at the PX, sneak it in, and they would hide it up in the ceiling. They would hide it in the laundry bags, in the wall lockers. We didn't have the foot lockers there at Fort Knox. We had like our little dorms with like 9 people in it. So each one of us got a wall locker instead, which I'm thinking like, why the hell are we getting the wall lockers? Why don't we just get the foot lockers like everybody else, for one? But they tried so poorly to hide it. It's like, we're running a covert operation, but we're not being covert about it. Drill sergeants go to everybody's room, everybody's little dorms one day, and they're finding the candy everywhere. Okay? Next fucking day, everybody in the company is getting smoked, sugar cookied, and I mean literally, we had a sand pit right behind the barracks. And at the barracks all around us, so we were going every which way. Through it. Next thing we know, we're carrying sandbags into the barracks and then out of the barracks. And then next thing we know, and I'm not going to name drop anyone because one of the buddies I went to BCT with, he was one of the ones that was caught. About a week or so later, one of the drill sergeants, he walks in with a bunch of jelly and syrup and honey and just coffee, a bunch of stuff. He takes every single one of those little bastards outside in the hot, boiling Kentucky heat. And it's like, y'all want to eat sweets? Y'all can eat this. Y'all can drink this. Now run about this friggin' barracks till you puke. And we were just watching from our... we were just watching from the second and third stories, and we were just like, oh, shit.
Well, you all won't name drop, and this was actually out of after boot camp, but I'm going to name drop because I still can't stand this guy. Sergeant Major Jason Haskins. I hope you're listening to this because that's some gun. When I got out of the Navy and transferred over, went to the Army, he was one of those. He was the big shot. He was the big dude on, big guy on campus. I didn't go in there bragging. I didn't go in there saying anything. I just went in there to do my job. And we went out to the range one day, and nobody can outshoot me. Nobody can do this. Well, I'm a redneck, so actually, yeah, I can. And went out there and ended up not only beating him, but like obliterating his score. The next day, come down a thunderous rainstorm, and he made me go outside and water the grass for 2 hours. So I hope I run into you one day.
That's
So-
some bitch.
That's dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you didn't get made to go mop the parking lot in the middle of a torrential rainstorm.
Oh my
Well,
God.
luckily we didn't have any parking lots closer. We probably would have, but yeah, had me out there watering the grass in the middle of the rainstorm.
I'm pretty sure that Sergeant Major would have been like, clean the sidewalks with a fucking toothbrush if he could have gotten away with it.
So
Okay,
I have a
okay.
question. I have a question. So this, I don't know, this might be a little bit of a controversial question. Like,
Oh my God.
so no, it's not. I'm just curious. So with what goes on, like, when there's active stuff going on, like war, like especially Afghanistan, Iraq, how much information, like if you give a percentage, how much information to people like me, like civilians, how much information do they really have what's going on, like a percentage wise? Like how much information do they give out? Like, we took over this place, we took over that place. Is there much more stuff that no one would know about? Like, you know what I mean? That they kind of keep it to themselves and don't give the public like the full.
I think any of us can answer that, Paul, and it would be about maybe 1%.
Yeah, that's yeah.
There's a
I
lot
would go
behind the scenes
further
that
and
goes on.
say a bit more about that because my job in particular, like I said, signals intelligence, ground electronic warfare, and then since I've been out, I've been a defense contractor for a few of the agencies, and even the information that gets to like most service members is very surface level in most cases. There is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that, especially once you get into
When you
I'm
get in,
trying to like phrase it a certain way.
I think I can help you out with that. When you get down to the nitty gritty of it all, there is a very limited amount of information that civilians get by comparison to what somebody who's in would get. But even that information that we would get is limited to the scope of what our job actually is.
That
Most
too,
of the
yeah.
time.
Well,
There's also a lot of I don't want to say a certain word here, and I know Griff is trying to avoid that as well.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
let's-
the reason why I ask, it's like, I'm sure you guys have been on YouTube and TikTok, and during the presidential debates, I think it was Harris said something like, none of our active military are in any war zone. And they had like that clip of like the active veterans that are in the war zone saying like, where the fuck am I at then?
Yeah, right.
Well,
Not too
now,
many politicians there, but yeah, that happened.
now,
Hey,
there
now it's a
is-
police action, okay? It's not declared war. No, I'm kidding.
now there is one thing that we have to make sure that people completely understand, and it's perfectly clear.
Hmm.
The one mistake that was said earlier is when he said that, he's a contractor and he basically was saying with intelligence, which means military intelligence. Let this myth be busted right now. You cannot put the words military and intelligence in the same sentence to be serious. Okay.
Oh, I knew exactly where you were going with that the second.
God damn
You
it,
started it on that. I
BK.
knew exactly where you were going with that.
Yeah,
God damn it, BK. You had to be the one to say it.
of course I did.
One thing I
Of
think
course.
is pretty funny is, so where I work now, I still work with the military quite a bit, and I was working at the facility I work at when Space Force was created, and because where I work, we do a lot of so we're a national reconnaissance office site, so we operate the spy satellites, and I remember one day I just came into work to go on my shift, and suddenly all these Air Force dudes, their name tapes were different, and suddenly they were Space Force. I'm like, the fuck is that? What? Oh, huh? I'm like, you were Air Force yesterday, and now you're Space Force today. Like, what the fuck? Like, you just changed branches literally overnight. I'm like, did you like have like a separate set of camis that you had like the name tapes changed on? Because the Space Force guys have like blue name tapes, or like the name tapes themselves are obviously cami, but like the name on them is like blue. Because the Air Force ones, because the Air Force, Army, and Space Force all wear the same uniform now. The Army have black lettering on their name tapes. The Air Force has, they call it Spice Brown. It's
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well,
They call it what?
Spice Brown for the Air Force. Yeah.
Please tell me you're making a
you
joke
gotta-
about this.
I am not making that up.
you got to
It's the
think
Air Force.
though,
Come on,
like
they're always extra.
you got to think though, if not for the Army, the Air Force wouldn't exist, and so if not for the Army, the Space Force wouldn't exist. So of course they're gonna have.
Now, here's a question. Like, all right, for people who don't know, what's the difference between the Air Force and Space Force?
So basically, the reason why Space Force exists is because when the Department of Defense, I guess Department of War now, allocates their budget, they start off by being like, okay, so each department is going to get X amount of funding. And then those departments go, okay, the branch will get X amount of money. And then the branch is like, okay, so these components will get X amount of money. And so there's a layered system, and at each layer, more people are dipping their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak,
Right.
when it comes to funding. Well, the issue was that the U.S. Air Force's Space Command was not really receiving the money that it needed because too many hands were dipping into the cookie jar, so to speak, before it got to Space Command. So the decision was made to create a separate branch that handles pretty much all of our space, like military space assets, alongside the National Reconnaissance Office, which is civilian agency that does, spy satellites basically. So that
Intergalactic warfare.
there would be fewer steps between the Department of Defense budget and the space budget, basically.
Gotcha.
Additionally, Space Force can have different standards for its members. If I recall correctly, I don't think they have a physical fitness test.
Are you fucking kidding me?
But the thing is that they strictly do not deploy or anything like that. The only things they do are space management and like cyber and stuff like that.
So they're probably checking out that comet that people think is alien spacecraft right now, that 3i Atlas thing.
Oh no, Paul. That's
I've been paying
checking it out.
attention.
So that's you checking it out, so you can add on to that that one episode we did where you had your alien.
Hey man, I'm a believer. I'm hoping it's aliens. So I could say, you see, I told you.
That's the only reason why you want it. Wow. Really? Don't deploy, but you have to consider DOD.
Well, DOW now, the nomenclature.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, no, because one of the issues they've kind of run into is that as cyber's become more and more of a factor, not just in the intelligence world, but also in like direct combat action. They're having trouble finding people who can be in the military and conduct, cyber fires, as it were, like while maintaining the standards and stuff, while also being the kind of person who can actually like do the kinds of tasks that are necessary. Basically, it's hard to find like a talented, I'm going to use a general term, hacker, but there's more technical terminology and stuff involved, who is also like in shape, doesn't smoke pot, doesn't do all these other things. I mean, Space Force still requires people to like.
Can't they flip those two around to smoke pot, but you don't have to be in shape? Because pot smokers have some of the best ideas.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still federally illegal. Like, so I live in Colorado, and weed's legal here. It has been for a while now. However, because I work as a contractor for the U.S. government, I cannot participate in it because I have to maintain a security clearance and stuff as well.
Got it. Okay. All right. So we've talked a little bit about all of us with the real life. Now, this is the part where I have to step back because I am not familiar with this. You all are doing some really, really good work because you're bringing your military, your RL military experience and advice and everything, and you've got a SL military community built. Am I right about that?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so I don't care who starts. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about that and how your real life experience has come over into SL and how it has helped to basically cross the bridge because you can show that hey, you can be in both worlds and make a difference.
All right, I'll start off. Also, just one more thing about what I had just talked about. Apparently, Space Force is getting a fitness test starting next year because the Secretary of Defense has told them to, most likely. But so the SL military community there's a bunch of different factions, all with their own themes. I lead one of them. We're called Grand Federation. We have like a modern military theme. Me and Cryptic are actually in uniform, partially, for that group. But there's like sci-fi groups. There's a Elder Scrolls themed group. But we still all do combat with each other all the same. So like you'll see like a Ashguard guy come out with a like magic staff and blow up a tank. It's actually it's really cool. It's like playing with your Legos all over again. But
that's pretty much exactly what it is. It's cool.
I still play with Legos.
Hell yeah. I would say though, my military experience is really helped with that because when it comes to leadership, I get more, or I feel more of like a how can I do the best for my people kind of leadership rather than there have been several groups where it's like someone makes a group, they get a bunch of people around them, and then they get like really hostile whenever anyone disagrees with them, and it's just
Sounds
they
like
want
wrestling.
to. Yeah, and they want to like generate kind of like this cult of personality type thing, and they're like, oh, you all serve me because you're in my internet group.
Yep, exactly. SL wrestling.
I will say this, but I hate that aspect of SL wrestling because it's like it shouldn't be a cult personality.
Yeah. Whereas the military, in the lessons I've learned, in leadership from it, I was an NCO. I was just a corporal though. It changes your mindset, so you believe in service-based leadership, where you're like, okay, I am, the highest rank or whatever, but I'm using that to facilitate what everyone, quote unquote, below me is doing. So it's more of like, how can I make this experience better for the members of my group? How can I, enable our scripter to get things done rather than just like, you all do what I say because I'm the great poobah and I pay the sim rent and stuff like that.
Oh, like a real military officer would say. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Hellhound, you haven't said too much here. What with you, what aspects have you used from your real life that's come into SL that you found very beneficial?
Well, having been an officer, I found that anytime that I've been part of an SL military as an NCO or officer, it's kind of blended what I was taught IRL into that position. I have an extensive list of SLMCs that I've been in, with literally one of the most recent having been Grand Fed, which Griff here runs. I'm effectively retired now. But yeah, no, just like doing anything from doing like training to a proper leadership position. My IRL officership has helped, because you're going to notice a really big difference between somebody who has served in capacity as an NCO or higher in the military and someone who never has in that exact same position and how they do things.
Oh, that's very true. Okay. Okay. So now here was, I think Paul, I think you and I were talking about this before we actually hopped down here into the on-air channel, and Hellhound, please, and because I'm very bad and I didn't write anything down, you were Canadian military, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So the rest of us are U.S. military. Did you ever get the opportunity to do any cross training? And if you did, what are the differences between what you do as a Canadian military veteran or what you did as, the Canadian military as opposed to what we did?
In between my deployments in the early 2010s, we did joint cross training with the German Bundeswehr, actually. And it was something, to say the least. When they talk about German professionalism, especially in the military, they're not lying. We were effectively a bunch of rowdy teenagers compared to a batch of what would effectively be the discipline of Japanese businessmen.
Wow. Now, why is that, though?
But,
Why?
well, the Germans have a very high standard for professionalism. Obviously, it's the military. You're going to fuck around, right?
Yeah.
You're going to do stupid stuff. But it's the Germanic, like, need to be professional and stoic and just, like, hard-assed no matter what you're doing. No matter what. The training, surprisingly, watching a lot of German armored tactics and Canadian armored tactics and even American armored tactics overall, we have surprisingly German generals from the Second World War to thank for that, like Rommel and Guderian, because most of the time we still use their style of armor tactics. So while there was a large discrepancy in the professionalism between the Canadian troops and the German troops, cross tactics were practically the same. Infantry divisions move differently, and when we moved in tandem with, foot infantry and mechanized infantry, the Germans do it a little bit more different, where they seem to want to try to get as close to the objective as possible before dropping troops, whereas we tend to drop troops back from the objective to obviously, avoid everybody inside getting killed by like an ATGM or something. And for those who don't know, that's an anti-tank guided missile.
Very nasty little toys. Okay, so anybody else? Just go ahead and feel free and jump in there. And what has your, same question basically. What has your, real life military experience trickled over into SL and been beneficial?
Well, I run Grand Federation with Griff, one of his second in commands. We have another guy who is also with us that he does an outstanding job. I haven't been around mostly lately. He's been taking over the role, but for me running the military with Griff and our counterpart, what comes into mind for me as having real life experience from the Marine Corps versus coming into Second Life is just the big thing for me was learning who I didn't want to be as an NCO, and then applying that kind of thought process to people under me, both in real life and on Second Life. And like Griff stated earlier, it's pretty much for us more about serving the people that are under us than us being the dictator, big hammer fist kind of type deal, just bossing people around. It's for us, we run our group more of how can we better situate your time here with us, and what can we do to make your time here better. And so that goes into learning how to treat people, how to talk to them, how to handle their problems. You get really personal with it. And the biggest thing is also just, remembering that everybody's a human being. It doesn't matter what uniform you have on, real life, Second Life, any other platform. Everybody at the end of the day is a human being who still has feelings that need to be considered. And there are certain situations where, sure, absolutely, you have to push some of this stuff aside. But at the same time, there's a time and place for everything. And you have to get good at reading the people that are under you. You have to get good at reading the people you're responsible for, and being able to tell tone, behavior, what's their norms, what's not their norms, if they're having an off day or they're having a great day. You got to be able to tell that difference, because then at that point, I can do my job as an NCO in the actual military. I can do my job as an officer in Grand Federation as to how to better help them be present and do what they need to do, which is whatever purpose they do. Some people join us to have fun. Some people join us to help with R&D, scripting, administration. I handle a lot of the administrative side of our group, so a lot of records keeping, a lot of tracking rank, certifications, and random little things and stuff like that we have in Second Life for our group. Like actually, for example, today, later on this evening, I will be training one of our officers for Grand Federation on how to take over a job from one of our other members that separated from us recently. So he'll be taking over that job, and I'll be training him on how to handle all the administrative responsibilities for his specific job title.
Now, how many people do you have in the group, like a total estimated amount of people you have?
Let me check our Discord real quick, because we have actual members, and then we also have like a lot of hangarounds as well. And so our group specifically, I think, has around 40 members. Just like who are like full on members, but there's also like I said, there's a larger community around it, and there's also people who are like not full on members, but they like hang out with us and stuff. Let me see real quick, because I've got our Discord pulled up, and I'm trying to see. I think it's in server settings where you can see how many people are in a
I've got it. We currently have 34 active enlisted.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And that should cover everybody in the group currently, because you have to have at least the enlisted role to interact within our Discord.
Okay,
for group members. So yeah, we've got 34 people active currently.
Mm-hmm. Wait, like online or?
Oh no, I'm talking about in the Discord that actually have the enlisted tag. Now, as far as them being active, I couldn't tell you, but for actual enlisted within our Discord and on Second Life, it's 34 people.
Okay, yeah. But to also say like kind of like the wider range of people who are like not actually part of factions and stuff, our Discord's total membership is 244.
Wow, nice.
Oh, nice.
So you were saying something earlier in the pre-show about how you guys, I guess this somewhat similar to like a Call of Duty game, like you guys do, like something like that, where you first-person shooter, thing like that.
Pretty much, yeah. So the way the SLMC works is, so each group, they don't have to have their own sim, but generally speaking, like if they want to be kind of considered like a major group, they generally will have their own sim for each group. The group will have like its own theme and whatnot, and they'll also have their own way of kind of doing things because there's not like a closed system or anything. This uses, so SL has its own HP system. And so we use SL's built-in health system for creating like a first-person shooter. And there's different degrees of escalation as well. So like a battle might just be, you know, infantry shooting each other with like rifles and machine guns and stuff like that. But it can also escalate up to where there's like armored vehicles and tanks that are out, where there's aircraft. To the max escalation generally is the term we use is fleet ships, where they're just these giant fucking things that just hover in air and have all sorts of like heavy weapons. Not every group actually like has those. We never really saw the use in like making them because it's really rare for those kinds of things to come out. But like I said, each group has their own way of doing things, and it's going to be different as you go from group to group to group.
Right.
But generally, like we all have our own like proprietary equipment and stuff like that. Like the uniform that me and Cryptic are wearing. This is just like the undersuit kind of for our uniform, but you also can't get it anywhere else. It was custom made for our group, and the only way to get it is to like join our group and whatnot.
Oh, that's cool.
When groups raid each other, both sides will appoint what's called an OIC, or officer in command. And the OICs will talk to each other to kind of agree on like, hey, let's like tone things down just a little bit, or let's, you know, escalate, or hey, this person's doing something they're not supposed to. You know, because each sim has different rules as to, you know, what people can and can't do. But the OICs are there to kind of keep it from just turning into like a grief fest, basically.
Yeah, right. That's interesting.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and let us hear a word from our sponsors.
Bitch Please has teamed with whatchamacallit. Brings you all of your clothing needs, from custom wrestling attire to everyday clothes. Established in 2007, whatchamacallit is one of the oldest clothing stores in SL. For more information, contact Baddock Og. Custom work is available, and they have clothes for men and women.
Have you ever logged into Second Life just to spend time with that special someone? Or just to escape that headache called real life and you just can't seem to find anything to do? Well, here at Warblood City, we have got something for you. Rentable bikes for a bike ride, a cafe for that date night, or a place to catch up with friends over tea and coffee. We also have our very own movie theater, so make sure you check out what's on the big screen. Every year from the 21st of September until the 1st of November, there is Warblood City's annual Autumn Carnival, so make sure to check that out. All you got to do is go into your search bar and type in Warblood Isle. Take the teleport, and welcome to the last stop you'll need for fun. We will see you all very, very soon.
LPW, otherwise known as Limitless Pro Wrestling. Check out their shows Riot Thursday nights at 4 p.m. SLT. Then catch them again on Unleashed Sundays at 1 p.m. SLT.
Aaron's Domain is a SL themed server for friends, family, and the SL wrestling community. They have all sorts of channels and categories that may pique your interest and are currently tied to several other feds in the SL community, whether Rain works there or not. They do show their support for the family in the best way that they can. If you wish to become a member and join us, feel free to ask herself or Chrissy and they will get back to you. Welcome to the Aaron family, and the door is always open.
Premier Wrestling is Second Life's leading federation for virtual sports entertainment, where passion meets performance, and the spotlight's not just on the ring, it's on you. We're recruiting now. Wrestlers, commentators, managers, referees. If you've got the drive, we've got the platform. With 4 electrifying weekly shows, Overload, Attitude, Rise, and ABW, Premier isn't just entertainment, it's a movement, a community, a gateway to the virtual world, proudly partnered with Linden Labs. Whether you're here to compete, perform, or elevate the action behind the scenes, there's a place for you in the Premier family. Step into the story. Visit premier-wrestling.com and join the action.
And we are back. And once again, we are talking to the troops today. We have got people from the U.S. military and the Canadian. I don't know. At one time, was you part of is the Royal Mounted something totally different?
Yeah, the Royal Mounted Canadian Police is like our staties.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they fell under the same category. And it was, kind of like with here in with us, you have, like, for instance, in the Navy, you have the Navy SEALs. In the Army, you have the Green Berets, you have Delta, and things like that. So I didn't know if that was like an elite branch or, okay, cool. Okay, so earlier I was talking about one of the things that everybody seems to always get asked is like funny boot camp stories and stuff like that. Another one that I always get asked about is drinking stories.
Oh God.
I'm bowing out of this one.
Do what?
I'm bowing out of this one because I ain't got
Oh, wait no. You can't bow out. You cannot bow out of a drinking story. Come on. We have a tradition to uphold. Everybody's
all
right.
I'll be in it.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Tell
You
your
start,
story.
TJ.
Yeah.
Not really much of a story here, to be honest with you, but
You probably don't remember it.
I really don't. But I'm happened about after I turned 21. No, actually, the night I turned 21, because I turned 21 while I was in the service. So I'm in a bar one night, just getting ready, staying there until my 21st birthday hits. And aside from me, this is just me drinking alone, basically. I'm in there, I waited out, and then as soon as my 21st birthday hits, bartender comes up to me with like some surprise mixed drink. I don't even know what the fuck's in it. My ass, next thing I know, I'm going home drunk off my ass after hitting there and hitting a strip club with 2 random guys. I go home drunk. Next freaking day, I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta get myself ready for the weekend, because that was literally the weekend before my unit would meet up for drill. If you don't know what drill is, basically every month the reserves, we get together, we do training, and everything, to be combat ready. So next day, I'm like, I don't want to get up. I'm hungover, and I got to get ready for everything. So I got to get all my stuff together. And then I get everything together. And then by the time the weekend comes around, I'm like, where's all my stuff? Where's all my gear? Where is everything?
And where did you end up finding it?
I ended up finding it strode about in my closet. Like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Looking for your stuff that was in your closet.
Exactly. I looked for my stuff that was in my closet. So like, oh crap, I didn't get a damn thing ready. I did it all wrong. Now I gotta fix it quick. I'm jacked up like a motherfucker.
All right, who's got the next one? Don't tell me it's got to be me.
God, so it was my first deployment in 2010, and there was a British officer's mess in our fob. And for those who don't know, British officers occasionally will get a little bit of alcohol smuggled in, usually, because I believe they got rid of the alcohol ration in like 1970 in the British Army. Anyway, I would trade packs and cartons of smokes for liquor. While I was
in prison.
in Afghanistan, yeah. So I'd be trading Canadian smokes to the Brits for alcohol.
What are Canadian smokes? Are they more potent than?
I don't want to say they're more potent, but they don't have the fireproofing that American cigarettes do. So if you drop it while you fall asleep, you will burn your house down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I remember going over. They had rums, bourbons, whiskeys, and something else. It wasn't vodka, but it was tequila. I think it was clear. Anyway, I traded probably about 30 packs of cigarettes for a couple of bottles, and proceeded to just get absolutely fucking blitzed in the Afghan heat in the dead of summer, and go meandering back to my fucking tank at 4:00 in the afternoon. I don't know how I managed to get under the tank, sleep for 3 hours, wake up, and nobody was looking for me, and how
You
nobody
crawled
ended up reporting me.
slept under a tank and oh my god!
But somehow
On
I
that
managed
day,
to
all
get-
the stars aligned.
Right?
absolutely.
All right, who's got the next one?
Right, I got one. I gotta do a little build up and also a cursory warning because the one small section gets kind of sort of graphic, not really graphic, but just language. So to build this up, it's like the end portion of my enlistment. Okay, I'm talking. I have like maybe 9 months left in. And of course, which is a staple for almost every single service member in any country, you end up hitting up a strip club at some point in your career. Okay.
No.
So now now at this point, I'm not a very big guy. Okay. I'm 5'7". But I'm in the gym constantly at this point in my career. And I'm talking 2 a day, 6 days a week. I'm eating in between every meal. I'm like eating 6 times a day kind of type deal, micro meals. And I'm packing it on. Okay. So I'm pretty big for my size at the time. So I'm chilling in a strip club, and I'm sort of a regular there. So the bartender knows me, the DJ knows me, and I spend most of my time in the DJ booth chilling with the DJ. Well, I'm at the bar, and I'm chilling. And of course, like most people know, our Marines have a reputation for being kind of sort of territorial and hostile because, that's just who we are. We're very prideful because, we're U.S. Marines. Well, I'm sitting at the bar waiting on my drink, and I've got one civvy to my left, another service member on my right, and the bar's kind of sort of packed. It's a busy night on a Friday evening. And I guess this other young Marine and his buddies and his girlfriend all walk in. And for whatever reason, he's about a full head taller than me. If I gotta look up at him, I actually have to physically look up at him. And so he's poking me in the back with his elbow and, oh, I'm sorry. He's kind of doing all that kind of bullshit. And so finally I got fed up with it. And not so super loud, but just loud enough for everybody with probably in a 5 to 10 foot radius could hear me. I turned around, looked up at him, and told him if he didn't stop touching me, I was going to bend him down at the knee, I was going to pop his eye out of his socket and skull fuck him in front of his girlfriend. Their smiles all dropped real fucking quick. They kind of moved away from me, and then I turned around, got my drink, and then for the rest of the night, my drinks were bought for me by everybody at the bar.
Jesus.
That's a great story.
Okay, so I have more than one that I could tell. I would probably have to say this is my favorite one. We were in Turkey, and I took the USS George Washington on her maiden voyage, so that's why we were there. Well, it's an aircraft carrier, so anybody that knows how large an aircraft carrier is knows that you can't just pull in and pull up to the pier in every single port you go to. So a lot of times you have to anchor the ship way out, and you have to take Liberty boats in, which means you get from the ship up to the pier by boat, and to get back, of course, you have to walk back down the pier, right? So one of those days didn't have duty, and a couple of buddies of mine were like, "Yep, we're gonna go explore Turkey. We're gonna go have some fun." Um, we started drinking at like 9 a.m. local time, and didn't stop until about an hour before we had to be back onto the pier for the last call for the Liberty boats. Well, you know how they teach you, or the urban legend is that when you're drinking, because we've all been there at some point in time, and you see three of something, you always aim for the middle, right? We can all agree with that, right? Okay. Well, the problem was I didn't see three of everything. I was seeing five of everything.
God.
And so we are trying to get down onto the pier to get to the boat to get back, to get on the Liberty boat to get back to the ship. And I am trying to maneuver this pier. And due to the fact that I was seeing five and not three, I couldn't tell you where the middle was. The next thing I knew, I was being fished out of the ocean because I fell off the pier. So I had to get fished out of the ocean. They had to clamshell me because they thought that I was a danger to myself, and all I did was lost my footing. So that's my favorite one about me falling off the pier, because I saw five of them and not three.
Wow.
The other one that I have happened in Greece. Basically went into a bar, met with, we ended up meeting the owner, like 6 or 7 of us. He starts buying us drinks for free. U.S. military guys buying us drinks for free. We're doing these shots, really good, really good. Nobody's feeling anything until we all was like, hey, we need to go to the restroom. And then we all stood up and we all hit the floor. Didn't remember anything after that. Don't know how we got back. Don't know how we didn't get arrested. Don't know how we don't know. The only thing we knew is the next day, everybody had to take a urinalysis test. And of course, with that many people, it takes about a week or two for the results to come back. 4,000 of us, including myself, popped positive for opium.
Jesus.
Because in Greece, they have blue labeled ouzo. Over here in the States, they have green label. Blue label is made with 10% based opium, and nobody told us. And we were over there doing opium shots and didn't know it.
Jesus
no.
Christ.
Fucking hell.
How bad was the repercussions on that? Holy shit.
Actually, it wasn't too bad. I mean, now, yes, at first when we all come in, they were all, it's like, we know we don't do it. We know we don't do it. And they sent a team, and they was like, okay, here's where we were. And everybody was like, like all of us just about was like named off 2 or 3 of the same bars. And they were like, okay, well, these guys are slipping them something. They send the team back, and that's when they like, wait a minute, no, we wasn't aware of this. This is made out of this. This is what the guys were drinking. They had no idea. So we were, luckily by technicality, we all got off that charge.
I would have hoped so. Jesus.
Thank God.
Okay. Not boot camp training, but MOS job training. Funniest situation.
I got one.
Okay.
It has absolutely nothing to do with our training, but it's more of what happened in training. Okay. So for being a 64 to parachute rigger, we have to go to school in Pensacola, Florida. That is our training base. So NAS Pensacola. While we were there, at some point, my one of my injuries from my combat training I ended up progressing and causing some issues with my knee. And so I was essentially light duty for 3 months. While being light duty, everybody's doing training in the morning. So, we're just told to stand there with a bunch of us all light duty, just kind of stand there, hold the guide on. So I'm sitting there holding the guide on, and you got these Air Force cats on base, and they're just running around doing their thing, playing flag football, whatever the hell. And the next thing I know is one of them comes through and tries to grab the guide on. And if you've ever been a guide or you're in the military, you understand the whole importance of a guide on. You don't ever let that happen, ever.
Okay, but hold on. Okay. But don't forget, not everybody's listening, so not everybody's going to know what a guide on is.
Okay, so it's a guide on is it's a flag, so it's essentially the unit's flag. Okay, it's kind of like extremely sacred. So nobody outside of the unit is supposed to touch it. No one's supposed to handle it without explicit permission. It's kind of like a pride thing. So there's sometimes the different units or even different branches, when they train together on the same base, kind of make it a competition or a joke to steal each other's guidons and, see who can have it the longest. Well, I guess these Air Force guys were trying it because, they just wanted to try it and they picked the wrong fight. So he comes by and tries to grab it once, and I snatch it away, and he kind of sort of chuckles, and on the next lap, he gets it, but he doesn't get it out of my hands. And the next thing that happens is I grab it, I use the guidon, and I smash him in the face with, like, horizontally, grab it, both hands, and push it into his face. The next thing I know, I've got one of his instructors coming over here trying to scream at us, and my one of my sergeants comes out of nowhere. And this guy had to have been a drill instructor. The way he was screaming was just in that Air Force dude's face, straight up, "Get out of my face! Get away from my Marines!" Nah, 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 nah. And the look on this Air Force cat's face was hilarious. Both, not even just the guy who's bleeding at this point from his nose, because I probably broke his nose, and his instructor were just like dumbfounded. Like the instructor would try to get in 2 words, and my sergeant was like not having it at all. He dogged him all the way, like, I want to say 15, 20 feet away from us until they left us alone. So moral of the story is, don't fuck with the guidon.
He dogged him, giggity.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he was on him. I'm talking. He was talking to the back of that guy's head the whole time as they were walking away.
Wow.
That's the sign of a good instructor right there. That he will jump up there and take up for you.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I got smoked later because he touched the guidon, but still.
Yeah, but that wasn't exactly something you were expecting either.
No, but I mean, he didn't smoke me as hard as he could have, but he still, you let somebody touch my guidon, get out. So, it's all part and parcel to it. It kind of is what it is,
Moral of the story: don't let someone touch your guidon.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, that's the rule. That's a rule of thumb.
I actually have 2 myself.
Okay.
So first one's pretty damn simple. Our instructors for MOS training, 74 Delta, Seaburn, chemical biological training. First day we got there at Fort Leonard Wood, they were telling us, do not go to the PX, do not buy cigarettes, because after they said in gold phase we were allowed to smoke. First night out, my ass walks up to the PX, the mini PX, not the big one, but the mini one down the road. From, if you were at Fort Leonard Wood, you know about Specker area, you know how close that PX is. But I went down there and I literally bought 2 packs of Marlboro Reds, got back to the dorms, back to the barracks. Everybody was coming up to my door like, did you actually go buy cigarettes? Did you actually go? I said, yes, I fucking did. Everybody was like, God damn, that's ballsy. Next day, the instructors were like, oh, fuck, he'll actually went and bought fucking cigarettes. God damn it. And they're like, we don't give a shit. I didn't even get smoked for it.
Wow, dude, if that had been Marine Corps, we would have gotten fucking smoked for that shit.
I was so expecting to get smoked the fuck out of for that. And the next day, they're just like, we don't give a fuck. They just didn't give a damn.
All right, you said you had a second one.
I do. So, nighttime formation, we're standing out there. Every one of the instructors is wondering, who the hell is going into the women's barracks at night, almost every fucking night, and trying to fuck the ladies?
Oh, God.
Dead ass.
Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Parental advisory warning on this one. This is actually what happened. Okay. So somebody was coming, and this all happened in the same area. So somebody was sneaking in to some of the ladies' barracks at night, tried to do it with some of the female soldiers that were there. And one night we were just like standing in formation. We're trying to figure out who. The instructors trying to figure out who. We know it's none of us males. So they let the ladies go first. Okay. As soon as they go, next thing we know, the instructor on duty that night is looking at us like, all right, guys, we're gonna catch these motherfuckers. And as soon as he's giving the speech, somebody spots a Marine trying to get into our ladies' barracks for God knows what. And as soon as the instructor sees it, he's like, get him. Every single male, myself included, both sides. Like the side that was facing away from the barracks, they turned around. I was on the side facing the barracks. And as soon as they about face, we all just go running after this motherfucker. And we eventually catch up to him. And next thing you know, our freaking instructors had found this son of a bitch. It was, in fact, a Marine, and this Marine's just getting his ass chewed.
Well, I mean, they have rules in place for a reason.
Exactly. Moral of the story is, don't try to fraternize while you're in training.
No, absolutely. Well, I just told you this story a second ago about the kid that gave the wrong answer and then gave the wrong answer and got in trouble. Yeah, you don't do that. That just doesn't happen. That just does not happen.
Side note here: this actually happened a lot on Fort Leonard Wood in a place called Sleepy Hollow. I'm sure you know what that is, BK.
Trying to forget, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that happened out there. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And a lot of my class got busted for that shit too. I never went out there, so.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end here because, as always, we're always scrunched for time due to RL, and got a few of you sitting here, and based on what what Z was asking earlier about, basically, if we all knew now what we knew then, would we still go into the military? I think we all have our own. Yes, we would, regardless of what the reasons were. You want to take a minute here, and doesn't matter who we start with, and want to get some advice of anybody who's maybe possibly thinking about joining or can't decide. Is there anything that you want to pass on to them? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about RL because you guys do it in the SL, and we know SL is used. We, like Paul and I, we do the wrestling. We don't wrestle in real life, but people being in real life may not be able to or want to actually do the military thing, but you have the SL version of it. So do you have anything that you'd like to express to them about, if they have any reservations?
So I would say, like, for the real life side, my biggest piece of advice would be get good at running because you're going to do it a lot. For doing like the SL military stuff, patience is the key because there's a steep learning curve to it. Your first few fights, unless you're like a really good first-person shooter player, like, and I don't just mean like you have a positive KD ratio. I mean, like, unless you're like really, really friggin' good, you are going to have a bad time when you first start out in the SL military community. You are going to get your ass kicked. It's just how it is. Everyone dies a lot. It's a very very high tempo. I mean, each battle is usually like an hour and a half or so, and even if you're good, you can expect to die like 50 to 60 or probably more times than that. If you're new to it, you're going to have to be patient. Skill comes with time. That's my biggest piece of advice for people joining the SLMC. That, and also watch out for pests. There are sex pests in the community. If anyone ever tells you you have to do like something with them to advance in a group, don't do it. Just, as simple as just don't.
Well, damn, that sucks. You don't know what Paul told me I had to do to get him to agree to do this show with me.
Whoa.
Jesus Christ.
You boys know what a circle jerk is?
No.
You're Navy, you're used to it. It's all right.
All right. Anybody got any last words of wisdom before we get out of here?
If you are going into the military in the real world and you want to be an officer, we made jokes
Don't.
about it, yeah, don't. But if you want to be an officer, I can tell you right now, you are not going to be the cog in the machine that makes great difference. You do not know everything. You're not going to be liked initially.
Oh, shit.
One of the best pieces of advice that I can give you is in private, speak to senior NCOs, because a sergeant in motion outranks a lieutenant who doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And no matter what, do not treat lower enlisted like shit, like they are beneath you. As a second lieutenant, when you are fully commissioned in, you are an overpaid private. A corporal has more experience in the military than you do, unless you were prior enlisted first. Treat your men as you would your own sons as well. Correct, do not scold them.
Good answer. Good advice. All right, Paul. I think we come to the end. I think you said something earlier about you had some stuff to do, and I know I got some stuff to do.
Yeah, let me say something real quick.
Yeah.
Because I usually don't. Yeah. I want to thank all you guys for coming. I got the utmost respect for you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for fighting for our freedoms.
Thanks for your support.
Yeah,
all right, everybody. We will catch you up. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said thanks for your support. We appreciate you.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, yeah. And me personally, I don't get a chance to sit around and talk a lot to, fellow veterans and stuff like that. So this is, this was kind of fun for me because you get to exchange stories and we can all relate, because not taking anything out on, or not downgrading anybody because they've never joined, but it's kind of hard to understand what we talk about if you've never been there. Just like somebody talking about being a professional basketball player, I wouldn't understand because I've never been there. So this was a whole lot of fun for me. So thank you all. Yeah, like Paul said, thank you all for doing this. Everybody else, we will catch you all next time. Thank you all for supporting, and take care of yourselves.